contrary to what Season 25 would have you believe, Henry is one of the most important characters in Thomas and Friends. He's amongst the characters who would make his debut in Season 1, and was not only an original member of the STEAM team, but also an Audrey original character. To say the least, there's a lot of history behind Henry, and because of this, when I set out to make my model of Henry, I wanted to make sure that I did it right. So after watching some classic episodes for reference, I did my best to weather my Bachmann model accordingly, as well as try to modify him and add some things in certain places, as I'm sure you're able to see. So let's take a look at Henry and break down piece by piece what I did to him. Starting with the front of Henry, I would spray the model with a coat of matte clear, first to dull out that shiny paint that was on the model, but also to give the charcoal weathering powder that I would use around him more of a surface that it could cling to. I didn't want my Henry to be dirty, but definitely look like he had at least been working, so the powder that I did apply was very light. I would also follow the same process with his running board and buffer beam to make sure the model was overall consistent. Once I had weathered the model, I would replace the face that he had, this time with a pre-Trackmaster Revolution Henry, as well as fit him with a headlamp. After another coat of matte clear to seal in all of the powders, the front of Henry was pretty much complete, save for one minor detail, which is the inclusion of a crew. Technically, he's only supposed to have 2 figures in his cab, but given that he's such a big engine, I figured I would fit him with 3. Plus, I enjoy the locomotive and tender both having the extra detail. Speaking of the tender, I would follow the same process that I did for the locomotive portion of Henry, but around the top I would try to apply the weathering powders a bit more heavily. The same was done to the back portion, and because he lacked one, I decided to give him a back lamp, this one being sourced from a Bachmann Oliver model. In time, I'm considering raising it to make it a bit more accurate, but for now I feel like it does its job of at least looking good, so for now at least I'm likely gonna leave it. Personally, I don't think it's too crazy noticeable that it's a bit too small. Once I had applied everything on the model, I would give it one more spray of matte clear, 1 to blend everything and 2 to make sure the weathering powder was actually secure, and with that, the Henry model was complete, or at least his base model. As I'm sure you all know, I would like to make a Sodor Fallout Henry, and still plan to, but my current plan for such is to use this model and craft some removable armor and a tarp that can come on and off of this locomotive. Buying a second Henry model would be a little expensive, so if at all possible, I'm looking to make this one multi-purposeful. There's not really a lot to what I would do, but regardless of that, I'm still extremely proud of this model, and feel I was able to achieve the overall goal, and that was to make a truly Kipper-worthy Henry. And while there's still future plans for this guy, I'm proud to say that even now, he's likely one of the best. So with all that being said, let's actually see this guy in action. Like I said before, even though there's not a lot to this model, it's still one of my favorite models and arguably one of my best. That is, at least in my opinion. He's definitely not exactly like the show, but definitely reminiscent of such. Apologies if I sounded different this video, my allergies have been acting up today, but hopefully it wasn't too bad. And if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe because I have plenty more coming. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.